up. Let's go. Let's give it a few minutes. Just sent out the grid. Oh, nope, I haven't. Hold on. Let's make sure we send out the grid. Somebody asked me to do something like this because I was only sending out a grid and have time to type everything today. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to send out the early pick 5 grid to all the giddy uppers right now. Desktop. Please hold. Happy Friday. Let's see what we got here. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Early pick 5 grid being sent. Again, someone asked me maybe make a few comments on the races since I didn't have time to type everything up. / I'm doing 2 racetracks tomorrow. Usually when that happens, it takes forever. Let's send this out. Again, I'm sending out the early pick 5 grid to the giddy uppers, weekend giddy uppers right now. I don't know why I went live. Who knows if even anybody is watching. I haven't sent out the link yet. I have a fat face. Did not go to the track this morning because I was worked on Monmouth and Saratoga for tomorrow and this morning. Have not left my apartment yet. Yes, I'm wearing a sweatshirt and it's 90 degrees outside. Because like my father, I keep the temperature at 64 inside. What else could I say? New person. Okay. Let's see. Let's send this out. Oh, and I was going to send the link. Let's do that. Couple minutes. 24 minutes to post. Race 1 at the spa. Day 9. Again, I told people I would. Let's see if I did this right. Yep, there's us live. Look at that fat face. Copy link. Let me add it to the email. Link to... Send. Let's just make sure we have everybody here. This is forward. Send. Is anybody alive out there? I'm trying to figure out how I can get people to comment, because that would be show comments on stage. Let's try that. Is it on YouTube? I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do these things. People ask, and I try the hardest I can. But the early pick 5, let's take the gum out. Looks like more professional since I'm getting paid the big bucks by Naira. I named it Yelling Horses because I find it funny that Andy Sterling's show is called Talking Horses. He's a little mean. I love Andy to death. He was a little mean to the new girl this morning, but he has been in a better mood lately, and I think he is great. How can I get my channel? It's not showing that it's going live, but all right. It is what it is. All right. Giddy up. Like I said, I've been on a couple minutes now. A couple people asked me to jump on a stream and go over the early races at Saratoga. Let's pull this up first. I've been doing this the last couple of the first couple of weeks of the meet. I and I find it extremely important. Let's do this. Share, stop sharing, invite, remove. Let's do whoa. And stage. How can I? There he is, Larry. Giddy up, G up. Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to switch over to a different screen. My tech guy, Andy Wong, took the day off. New layout. I want a full screen layout. No, I want to switch to presents or invite. Stop screen. How do I get to a new stage? All right. Let's see if this worked. Here we go. See if everybody can see this. All right, track updates. I don't know. You know, the more information you get, sometimes the more confusing handicapping can be. For me, watching all the replays, knowing the people that I know, you know, having the resources, learning the game, you know, looking at all the figures, I have to draw a line somewhere. So for me, like the amount of information that I can possibly get is vital to kind of draw a line on the grid from a horse being an A or a B because of how firm the turf is or how much the wind is blowing. It's little things like that that people don't talk about. A lot of people can give you the stats. You know, Chad Brown, you know, in race 2 today, he's got 2 maidens going off with blinkers on. His stats with maidens, first time blinkers on, is pretty terrible. You know, that's a stat that a lot of people can find. But I've kind of been sending this out over the last couple of days. As you can see on the screen, the air quality with the Canadian smoke was kind of high yesterday. You saw this, if you were watching on TV, you were at the track, you could definitely see there was a haze. It got to a level where it got a little threatening with they might cancel racing, so they moved up post times. There is no issue with that today. Air quality is good. Wind. Yesterday, there was a big tailwind, which led to a speed bias, specifically on the dirt, and there was an inside speed bias for sure. There is much less wind today than yesterday. Will there still be a speed bias on the track? Possibly. Through one of my maintenance guys, getting a little information. I know the dirt was at 3.25 inches yesterday. It is about that today. I posted a picture on Twitter not that long ago. They tightened the track even more. We have not got substantial rain here in Saratoga for a couple of weeks now. It'll probably rain over the next couple of days, but the dirt is playing fast. It was inside speed bias yesterday, but again, like I said here, the wind has a lot to do with it, and not a lot of people talk about that. I call it a wind bias, speed bias, inside speed bias. Do they scrape the inside rails? Yes. They try to keep the track as level as possible with the new technology that they have that I don't really want to get into, but there right now is about 3.25, 3.5 inches of dirt. And with the wind yesterday really led to an inside speed bias. There is much less wind today on track. It's actually blowing a little different direction. I could kind of pull you up the command center, but we'll just kind of go off of this for now. I'm still leaning towards horses on the front end. I'm going to send out the rest of the grid. I send out the early pick 5. All weekend Giddy Uppers should have gotten. My lone A single is going to be in a turf race, so it's not really going to affect the dirt. But for now, I am still leaning towards speed. I want to see how first couple races play, and then I will send out the late pick 5 or the final grid probably after race 3. If you guys know me by now, you know I like to do it in real time, so we'll stick to our process. We stick to what we do. Like I try to say to you guys, all it takes is really one day here at Saratoga to make a massive score. Day 1, I was alive for $20,000 off of $300 tickets into the pick 5. Dutcher wired the fields. That $20,000 would have probably made my meet. Got cold a little on the Saturday. Came back and won some money on Sunday. Weekend 2, had a couple good days, had a couple bad days. We're on day 2 of week 3. Had a decent day yesterday. Was alive in this pick six on a very, very small ticket going into the last couple of races. Didn't connect. Manny Franco gave some really good rides on the turf yesterday, getting inside, which will lead me to the GiddyUpBets track updates turf. Turf today, Friday the 17th. They put the sprinklers on between 4 and 5 o'clock like they have been doing. They then put them on for an hour after. The course is firm. We have not gotten any substantial rain in a while, but you can still see if you have a good enough horse, like the Pratt Will Walden horse in the claimer yesterday, made a big outside sweeping move on the inner turf. We've only seen, there's been about 21 inner turf races. We've only seen outside horses on the inner turf win twice. Maybe 3 times. There's one that's kind of in between. The horse spent a lot of time on the inside, but there was a Morley horse on the second weekend, and the Will Walden, as I like to call him, Wonder Walden horse yesterday with Pratt closed on the outside. The inner rail is at 18 feet, making it a little bit more firm. They're trying to water the turf down, but it is still firm. We are going to probably get rain tomorrow, which I think is going to level the playing, both surfaces, a little bit more. We need the rain. I hope it doesn't rain a ton, but at the end of the day, you guys have been following me a while. You know, if they come off the turf, I start making the biggest bets of the meet. Those races are bet wrong. Everybody goes off of mud pedigree. Well, no one talks about how mud pedigree involves lots of horses that wore mud caulks. There are no more mud caulks. I can go on for days about this. Those are some of the days we have printed the most money on off the turf days. Could we have one of those tomorrow? Possibly. Looking at the Haskell, I've been looking at the turf races with a grain of salt because I know New Jersey's going to get a lot of rain. I'm not exactly sure how much rain we're going to get here. Timeline. So this is all something that if you signed up for GiddyUpBets, you got from me probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. I like to send this out because, again, just little things like this that you really have to keep in mind how the tracks are playing, the winds, the paces in the race. Like a lot of people like to call a speed bias right away in the first 1 or 2 races on a card. Usually they're carding not the best races early. It's a little different today with a maiden special. Race 2 could very easily be a maiden special on the dirt. Race 3 is a high-level allowance races, but sometimes you get some cheap horses on the earlier races and, they get out there, they get loose on the lead, or they don't go too fast, or maybe they go fast, but they're loose, and then the front end speeds away and everybody goes, oh, there's a speed bias. Yesterday, with how the wind was playing and how I know that the track was about 3 1/4 inches deep, I was like, there is a speed bias here, and we saw one, and there was one yesterday. Again, I'm still tilted towards speed on my grid in the early pick 5, but I am not making a call on this is going to carry over because the wind direction is not as strong. Let's cut through it a little. Again, Mark DiLorenzo from GiddyUpBets. I'm going to be doing a stream later around 5:30. So what I'm kind of doing here, a couple people asked me to do this because I didn't send out any typed up notes for the early races. So I was just going to kind of pick off a few of the races and a couple of thoughts I have on this early pick 5. And then tonight I'm going to be joined with Chantel Sutherland, Miss Chantel Sutherland, the infamous jockey down there in Monmouth. She's going to give me a couple of backside things to talk about, I guess you could say, leading into Haskell Day. We have a couple of things that are need to knows leading into Haskell Day, but I will save that for later. We're going to be joined by Mr. Pads Out himself, my cousin Christopher. We also might get a guest appearance from Wes Siegler, who is the stable manager of Moving. Let me make sure I get this right. Really nice kid. Met him the other day. He is now the stable manager for Winning Move Stables. He might be on the show later, so I'll send out another link probably around 5:30. But right now, I was just kind of going to go over the early pick 5, just a couple of thoughts. Let me see how I can pull this back up. Let's close out of this. Bump, 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 bump. Bear with me. Let's go stop screen. Do new screen. Screen share. Window. Which one can I do? Which one will I do? Nope, let's do this one. No, let's do this one. Yeah. Sure. Ooh, look at that. Look at that advanced tech. What do we got here? Somebody just sent me an update. What do we got? Cool front. This is what I do for a living. I sit here and I get information all day. This isn't that important. We'll continue. Race 1. Let's peel through this real quick. Race 1, the 2 and the 3 are coming out of the same race at Churchill Downs on June 28th. I think one of those 2 horses is going to win. Both didn't break particularly sharp. Wesley Ward horse broke a little bit slow and got slammed. Made a decent rally. Beijing sat a little better of a trip and made a little bit of a rally. I think that these 2 horses are a cut above everyone else in the field. I haven't really gotten word on anybody else. I've seen the Clement horses run before. I'm not exactly sure if they're turf sprinters. They would kind of be like C's for me. I would kind of lean into the 2 or 3. The thing that scares me a little bit about the 2, when the Wesley Ward horses are ready and get bet, they usually break very, very sharp. And this one not breaking too sharp scares me a little bit, but I know that there's some talent here. It is a 3-year-old again. This is not one of his, pop out of the gate, just fly 2-year-olds. So it's not like one of those 2 to 5 shots. This is more of a 6 to 5 shot, but the 2 and the 3 would be A's for me in the first race here at Saratoga on Friday. We got about 10 minutes to post. I think the Walden horse is going to run better. He ran a Colonial on the dirt, solid effort, went off the favorite, showing that they like the horse, switched him over to the proper surface, closed into a wire winner, sat a pretty good trip. I see both of those horses improving today. If you wanted to use 2 backups, I would use the 2 Clement horses and the 5 and the 6. The Weaver horse, the way his horses have been running, and I'm going to single into one later in the card. I wouldn't knock you if you wanted to use this one. I just don't really like this horse physically. When I saw it at Aqueduct first time out, it dueled and faded, didn't get bet. He didn't take any money at all. Can he break out of the gate fast, kind of get out there on a fast, firm turf course and just fly? Sure. I'd probably let the 7 beat me here. I'm not in the paddock today to kind of take a better look and get more of a presence, but from what I can see, the 3 looks good. We got the paddock cam up from the Naira signal. 2 and the 3 would be A's for me. First race. Let's move on to the second race. Tricky. Second race is tricky. The 1 Sir Duke would probably be the horse I'd want to bet. I thought his effort first time out was a prep. I thought he made a outside move that was something that needs to be noted. He was wide, he was green, he was chasing a wire-to-wire type front flow type of race. Let me try to make this a little bigger for you guys watching. Sir Duke would probably be my on-top horse in race 2 that is tricky. You see 2 Chad Brown horses in here. Chad Brown with maidens. Now, this is a $100,000 race. Anybody can come in and pick one of these off as a maiden claimer. 3-year-olds at this time of year, if he doesn't see grade 3 type ability, making room in his barn because he has so many horses, it doesn't scare me that these are in for $100,000. That is not one of the reasons not to like either of the 2 Chad Brown horses in here. The reason to not like one of the 2 Chad Brown horses in here is that they're putting blinkers on, and his stats with maidens putting blinkers on is bad. Not good at all. It's a stat that I don't have the exact number to. Just doing this long enough, I know that it's not good. So they're kind of 2 horses that I would probably fade. The 4 was a good physical at the OBS sale back in April 2005. The 2 looks like a solid runner, but again, him putting blinkers on, looks like he's kind of guessing a little bit. Either of them can win, but I kind of want to go with horses that probably won't take as much money as some of the Chad horses, and that would be the 1 Sir Duke, because again, first time out, wide, green, chased the wire-to-wire winner. I think he's going to improve out of that race. Post going 7 furlongs on the inside scares me, but I think the price would be right. I want to give Bill Mott, the number 5 horse, a shot in here. Last time out, again, he's took a little bit of money. He didn't run that bad. He started out slow, got brushed around, was wide, looked green. Again, this was last summer. They've gelded him. He's a 4-year-old facing 3-year-olds. I believe he's the only 4-year-old in the race. He's got the type of Mott pattern. 1 and the 5 would be A's for me in race 2. 7 minutes to post the race. 1 at Saratoga. Again, I'm doing this real quick because I didn't really type anything up. Some people are asking me to kind of go over a couple of these races. So I said, sure, why not? This is also kind of a prep. If you see in the bottom handle, this is kind of a prep. So I'm going to be doing a podcast later, and I don't exactly know what I'm doing all the time. So why not? We'll give it a shot. Race 3. The speed of the speed in here is the 7. What's up, bro? Now, I told you that the wind isn't as strong today. The track is probably still going to be speed favoring. This horse is not the same animal as it was when it was with Dutrow, the Cantor Machis, Ray Handel, Maker. This Norman Follett hasn't done much with this horse, but he won the other day with this jockey. I've seen crazier winners this meet. I would use the 7. Speed of speed on the outside. The horse that should win this race is the 8, who should stalk right outside him, get first jump, pop and win. Fernando Abreu claimed March 14th for 50, is now keeping restricted because he meets the condition, because he ran for 50. That's a positive. But he claimed him in March. Where's the horse been? I don't know this ownership group. I don't know anyone behind it. Is this I'm sitting here waiting for Saratoga type of move? Or is this something went wrong with the horse type of move? I also see, if you look on the bottom here, I'm big on trainer patterns. Where was this horse from May 20th to June 20th? No works. Those are your speed horses. The way the track played yesterday, I said less wind, question marks. Why not bet the 7 instead of the 8? I think the 8, if the 8 comes back and runs this race in March, yes, sure, winner. You'll be able to tell from the tote. But this horse missed a month of works. Should sit the perfect stalking trip on maybe a speed favoring track. Castle Chaos barely went by some turf horses as an MTO last time. He's not the same horse, but I do love that horse. Kind of have a love-hate relationship because he missed by a neck at 35-1 on August 13th, 2023, which I might have won $1 million that day, but I digress. Cantor Machi on the 5, second time off a claim. This barn is hot. When these guys get hot, they run. 5 is a use. Race 3. Sharp, Irad. These Churchill Down horses shipping in continue to do well. Churchill Downs is putting out a better product on dirt right now in the spring than at Belmont. Is that the lone reason to like him? No. I like this horse a little bit more because he's second time Joe Sharp, putting in the right spot. He's going to need pace. The 4 and the 5 are both going to need pace, but the 7 and the 8, I both told you, have question marks and might back up. So the 4, 5, 7, and 8 are uses for me in this early pick 5. The wild card would really be the 1. What Pratt does on the rail with this horse, on the cutback, he's too short of a price for me. I would not be shocked if this horse won. I'm going to leave him off my early pick 5 ticket. You want to go a little bit deeper, I probably should use him on a backup. I got it up right here. Oh, the ticket maker. I should probably move him to a B just because I have a single in the race 5. But let's move over to race 4. We got 3 minutes to post. Race 4, 2-year-old baby race. I'll go through this real quick. I got word that there are 3 solid runners in here who should be ready to go. Number 5, Lexi's Charm. Number 6, R Can't Miss. And the 9, Atlas I. Those would be my A's. 5, 6, 9 are kind of the backstretch buzz horses. Do the backstretch buzz horses always win? No. We saw that last week. I say this over and over again. It's something my father always said. Never key off hot tips. Keying off hot tips is not going to get you anywhere fast. Everybody loves their horses here in Saratoga. But some people that I trust told me these are the 3 kind of runners in the race. The backups after that would be the 2, 7, and 10. But 5, 6, 9, race 4 are the ones that I heard were kind of the runners. Those would be my A's. You're not probably surprised in anything. Those 3 might be the 3 lowest on the morning line. I think they are. This is a restricted under $65,000 race. Sometimes you might pop and get a monster who's developed a little bit more, but 2-year-old fillies, anything could really happen in these races. On my A's, 5, 6, 9, 2, 7, 10 would kind of be backups. Race 5, non-winners of 2. I looked at this race. This was the race I started with because it's kind of a wheel leg in the middle pick 5, some pick 4s, and as the last leg of the pick 5, and it's the first leg of the pick 6. So this is kind of like the wheel leg I always try to spend the most time on. I went through this race 100 times. The one I really liked his run last time, he slapped the gate hard, still won. That was against the weaker field, but he finally got through the N1 condition. The 2 I could see liking the turf, but don't really love. The 3 is going to show speed. Can he just fly out there and maybe bottom out the field at 100-1? I've seen crazier things happen so far this meet. I don't like the 4. The 5 would be the horse that I'm going to press into and single in this early pick 5. I'll then kind of make a decision on the pick 6 if I'm going to play it. But the 5, Twisted Filigree. George Weaver, 1, horses are running well. 2, let me pull up all my notes here. Last time out was best of speed, dueled on a front end, went a very honest / quick clip. The pace completely collapsed, and he was best of speed. You know I like that. He didn't take any money that race off the layoff, letting me think that he wasn't ready to win. He lost to a stakes quality type of field, now dropping in for lesser. This horse should get bet. This is a prime example of me telling you about the tote board. I want to see this horse get bet. Would I like this horse to be 4 or 5-1? So I like, oh, I get a better price and I can bet it to win. Kinda. But the way I play this game, the way that how sharp these computer models are and how sharp the information is out there, I don't want to see this horse dead on the board. I want to see this horse get bet. This horse, in my mind, fair value is probably 3-5, 4-5. So that's when I single or go lone A, press into a horse and kind of move on. And that would be the 5, Twisted Filigree in this race. Mainly because of this. The 1, 7, 6, 8, 2. I would kind of all rate the same. And when I rate all of those kind of in one bucket, and then I have a horse that I'm waiting by itself, that's how I play the game. I want to press into my strongest opinions. I got no problem if you want to use the 6, but I've seen this horse be even way too many times. You know, he's coming out of the same race. He's going to have to close. He's going to need the 3, 5, and 8 to battle up front, which could very easily happen. I'm just trusting Manny, who's riding really well right now, to sit forward, stalk, pounce, go, maybe take the lead if the 3 doesn't take to the turf, which I've seen happen before. Everyone's just going to automatically expect the 3 to be on the lead, but maybe it just doesn't take the turf. Blinkers on, but it'll probably be on the lead. I'm hoping the 5 kind of sits off, gets first jump on this field. The 6 will be your second choice. I've just seen this horse be even too many times. Walden Pratt on the cutback. I could see this horse winning. Sure. His sprint race 2 back when Manny Franco was on the horse, he steadied in the backstretch, lost his rhythm a little bit, and still won. That's the 7. Funny factor. He would probably be like a BC horse type for me, but the 5 is the horse that I trust more. The 7 is kind of a horse that I would kind of lump in with the 1, 7, 6, 8, 2. The 8, her win 3 back. She doesn't win often. This 5-year-old gelding doesn't win often. And the win sprinting 3 back was the most perfect trip you could possibly get. It then went to Gulfstream, 5 furlongs. Maybe wasn't to its liking. It's weird down there. It went off Lasix last time. It's getting Lasix back. Draws outside. Could sit at stalk and pounce type trip. I think this horse wants to go a little bit longer. I don't know if it's a dead sprinter, so I'd probably single the 5 in the early pick 5. It's post time. Maybe I'll go through a couple of thoughts in the later races and then kind of jump off. We got a bunch of people on. If you have any comments, you could drop them in the section here. It's Friday, Saratoga. I'm not at the track because I'm going to handicap 2 races in the next couple of hours. So I am missing a day at the track, which I'm okay with. Day 9, I think I've been there for about 7 days. No smoke today. Not as much wind today, as I said at the start, which I feel that wind really helped speed yesterday, especially on the dirt. You saw that in the 7 furlong race where they went like 45-2 and the horse wired. Not as much wind today. Really, if you look at the trees and the flags there, it isn't blowing that much. And wind is a big factor that nobody talks about. So we're trying to print early here. Make sure these all go in. Pick 5s. I always use Ticketmaker. Going to press into the 5 in the 5th. Race 4, 5, 6, 9. Race 3, I think, is wide open. The 8 and the 7 are the speeds. Second race, I kind of like the 1, don't love. Race 1, the 2 and the 3 are A's, and then the rest of the field are kind of C's for me. I'm expecting the 2 or the 3 to break sharper. Oh, and the 2 just broke through the gate. Fuck. I'm going to have nightmares since that when Phileas Fogg broke. No, not Phileas Fogg. Magnitude broke through the gate in the Clark. And I've never seen a horse then wire the fields after like that, especially against big-time horses. This horse didn't really go anywhere, but it's still, I always fade. Like, I'm going to keep the tickets the way they are, but now in real time, they're not going to back these horses out. What I would do in real time is I wouldn't play this pick 5. I would either use more horses in here. I'm A'd into the 2 and 3. I would probably move up 5 and 6s into B's instead of just leaning on the 2 and the 3. I should bet the 3 to win. If I wasn't doing this right now, I would be betting the 3 to win off of the 2 popping out of the gate like that. The 3 was my pick to begin with. 3, 7 to 2. The 2 just broke through the gate and they're off. 1 broke in, 2 broke okay, 3 broke sharper. The 2 Clements are on the lead. 2 was in the pocket. Pratt backed out. Again, I'm kind of watching race 1 here at Saratoga. I'm not pulling it up on the screen. Nairo will come after me. You know it. You just know it. Especially since I'm calling this yelling horses, not making fun of talking horses. I love talking horses. Andy's great. The 3 is backing up. The 2 popped out of the gate. He's in the right spot and could possibly win from here, but I have no confidence now after he popped out of the gate. The 5 is on the lead, nose down on the inside. 6 is stalking right off. The 3 is doing no running. The 5 and the 6 battling, and the 1 is closing on the outside for Linda Rice, and the 1 gets up at 13 to 1 to start leg 1, day 9 here at the spa. As soon as the 2 broke through the gate, bad vibes. And when you're going off of some of these races and you're going off of feel and you're going off of something that you don't love and it's not going in your favor, the 2 and the 3 being like kind of my pressed in A's to kind of get out of the leg in the early pick 5 is something that I would have gotten rid of. The 3 didn't do much running. The 1 closed on the outside after the 2 Clement horses kind of battled. 4-year-old against all 3-year-olds. Linda rarely wins first time out. There's a Linda horse that I like later on in the card. 13 to 1, longest shot on the board. After the 2 popping out of the gate, I'm on track. I play an all button here in the pick 5. And again, a lot of these early pick 5s, you guys know, I haven't put a ton of money into. Even this middle, they throw the 3 pick 5s at you now. You're just burning a lot of money. Like, Saratoga is so tough. Betting wins, doubles, pick 3s. You know, when you like a horse at 4 to 1 and you feel that he should be 2 to 1, you got to make a win bet there. These pick 5s, tying them together here at Saratoga is very, very difficult. You see it right here. Like, 2 pops out of the gate. I would just cancel my bets, especially after the Ward horse didn't break right the first time out as a 3-year-old gelding. He's got another excuse there, but that goes in my notes. Now he's acted up in the gate kind of twice. Feels like a weak bunch. 3 didn't do any running. He didn't really have much of an excuse. It looked like Pratt kind of pulled him out of a speed battle. I thought he would break sharper, and he did. The 2 Clement horses went a little quick. 21 and 4, 43 and 4. Yeah. Jose Ortiz ate up the outside. Linda Rice starting to pile on wins. Barnes getting hot. I hope it stays hot because there's a Linda Rice horse I really like later. Got about 160 people on here. Like I said, I'm calling this Yelling Horses because I sent out the early pick 5 grid to all the weekend giddy uppers. Didn't type up any notes because I'm doing 2 tracks tomorrow. So somebody asked me if I could kind of like say a couple things about a couple of the horses. And I was like, well, I'm not just going to do that for one person. I might as well do it for everybody. So we kind of just went over the early pick 5 and just gave you a couple of thoughts. The 2 and the 3 were A's for me in race 1. And once the 2 broke through the gate, no bueno. I still can't believe Magnitude won going wire to wire, even though he got loose in the, was it the Clark? I believe it was the Clark at Churchill Downs. I never see that happen. If they pop through the gate or break through the gate, that's an auto toss for me. I don't care if they lose. There's 2 auto tosses for me. Those and double negative switches. If you've been following me long enough, double negative switches is when they're switching surfaces and switching equipment. They are 9 times out of 10 guessing. Popping out of the gate, I usually sit there, start canceling tickets. I didn't put too much money. I think I put about $150 into the early pick 5. Did not make a win bet. I hope you're alive. Once the 2 broke through the gate, you're quick on your toes. If not, you're probably sitting there at work like you should be, Leary. But game is tough. Saratoga is tough. And like I say, all it takes is one. 2023, I had 3 days that paid off 2 years of my life. 2024, I had a $35,000 day when that Pletcher horse got up in that turf claiming race. I think it was the day after Whitney. I was down about 8-9 grand on the meet, got back 35, lost another 4 or 5, didn't have the best end of the meet. This meet, I've been kind of holding my own, had some decent days. But when you play these pick 5s, pick 6s, I like to call it, there should be 3 buckets in how you bet. And my father always used to say, people spend 99% of their time handicapping and 1% of their time betting. The way CAWs are, how sharp they are now, you need to use Ticket Maker. You need to structure your bets. The more you do that, if you spent 40% of your time structuring bets and 60% of your time handicapping, you would win a lot more. If you don't have a single in your pick 5, pick 4, pick 6, I was telling this story the other day. I think I've hit, and again, this isn't red boarding or whatever, but I think I've hit on a minimum base wager for over 20,000 20 times. Champagne Room, I know me and John Stetton were talking about it the other day. I'm going to go on one of his podcasts next week. At 30-1 was a single. I've had some big time long shot singles. I've had some chalky singles, like Abel Tasman was a single for me in the CCA Oaks, who was, I think, 4 or 5 or even money. And that pick 5 ended up paying 65,000. If you don't have a single in the pick 5 or pick 6, of the 20 times I've cashed for over $25,000, 19 of those 20 times I've had a single. And of those 19 times, 6, 7 of those times I've had 2 singles. And what does that do? It leaves you bullets and ammo in other races to go after races that you're like, I don't like a favorite here. Anything could happen. Like this race. You didn't love anybody. You have a single in the race. You can narrow down in another race. You can hit an all. You can use the 1 if you had something that you liked about this horse with turf pedigree for Linda Rice, who was the lone 4-year-old. I could come up with some excuses here. Is this the type of horse that I'm going to bet Linda first time out at Saratoga? No. But once the 2 pop through the gate, kind of anything can happen. 22 minutes to post. Double will pays. The 1 is the low. Huh. That's the horse that I like. The Chad number 4, completely dead on the board. 7 and 8, I knew it'd be dead on the board, but the Chad horse dead on the board. The 2 also dead on the board. Again, Chad in a maiden race putting blinkers on is a big no bueno. I don't know the exact stats, but I've been doing this long enough that it's not good. Both his horses open dead on the board. My on-top pick in race 2 was the 1, and the 1's taking a little steam on the tote, which is okay. We went over the other races. I'm not going to send anything out. I'm not going to kind of give out the end grid, but I'll talk about the end races a little bit while everybody's kind of on. Again, I'm doing this because I didn't type up anything today. Grid went out to all of the giddy uppers in the early pick 5. I want to see 2 dirt races because yesterday we did see an inside speed track on the dirt. There was a big, strong tailwind yesterday, which I think really helped, and there is not today. So I would like to see race 2 and 3, see the splits, see where everyone's positioned, get a feel for if anybody is hanging on who shouldn't be. Not looking just at the winner. You pick up on biases when a horse you expecting to run a certain time in a certain lane isn't doing so, or a horse is outrunning odds down in a certain lane, and we definitely saw that yesterday with inside speed on the dirt. I'm watching the head-on replay of race 2. I'm looking for an excuse here with the 3 because the Walden horse got bet right. He broke right. He's sitting next to the 2. Pratt took him off the speed duel, which was the right thing to do. He's in a little bit tight around the turn. The 1 is all the way back. It'll be interesting to see how this turf course really is playing because the time came back pretty quick. And the 3 just went flat around the turn. Really no excuse for the 3. The 1 stays down on the rail. Jose does a nice job tipping out, top of the stretch, and goes by the 2 speed horses for Cheryl's Soul Town to kick off day 9 at the spa. Yeah, like I said, I'll peel through this real quick again. Race 3, the 7 is the speed of speed, the way I've seen the speed track play yesterday. But again, there's less wind today. The 8 has a month gap in works. May, June. What was going on here? They claimed it for 50. Why aren't they running it back? The 8 should win this race. The 1's kind of the wild card. The 4 and the 5 need pace. The 4 and the 5 would be must uses for me. Second time off the claim for both of these guys. At the price, I would probably bet the 5. But I think that the 7 is a must use that no one will use in this leg. This horse had form way back when. It's fallen out of form. There's no reason why a horse can't get a little in a race that has a lot of holes in it. This horse looks like it's just not the same animal anymore, but this trainer just won a race. And when they win, they usually win in groups. I believe this was the same jockey too that wired the field the other day at some massive price. So is he going to do that again? Probably not. But I said that last weekend with the DePaz Maiden. I had the 30-1 Maiden DePaz horse on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm like, he's not doing this twice. Bang, goes, wins. Race 4 is the maiden race. Again, kind of the word that I'm getting in the backstretch. 5, 6, 9 were the runners. Race 4, 2-year-old restricted race. Backups will kind of be 2, 7, 10. Use the tote, watch the paddock. The more you're involved, the more you should bet. If you're just throwing some bets in and having some fun Friday at the Parting Glass, when you're with Tim Leary and Shane O'Connell and crew, spread out, box some horses, don't bet over your head, have a good time. But if you're doing this every day like I am, and you've got a 2-year-old race, watch the tote. Watch who's taking money in the implied will pay odds. Use pads out. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, use the tools that I'm giving you, the tools that they're giving you. Show you what is the way that, like, follow the goal. Like, how should I say? Follow the yellow brick road. If you think a horse in a 2-year-old race is not getting bet and getting overlooked, I said that in the last race on Saturday, I want to say last week, when that Denny horse that was taken off of Clement, I go, 9's getting lost on the board here. I had 30 to win on it because it got lost on the board. There's a difference between getting lost on the board and dead on the board. A prime example for me would be in the in the 3rd race today with the 8, 24 Mamba. If the 8 opens up, in the 3rd race today, the 8, 24 Mamba, off this layoff with a gap month in works, off the claim, hasn't run in a while. He opens up 5 or 6 to 1. I would call that dead on the board. in a big turf field like that last race on Saturday. I forgot the horse's name. It was number 9. It was off of Miguel over to Denny. He got lost on the board. He was not dead on the board. I was expecting him to be 7-8 to 1. He went off at 11. That's when you can make a value bet. And I was trying to say before, there's 3 types of bets here at Saratoga. There's 3 types of bets anywhere in life: baseball, football, horses, however you want. There are bankroll builders, there are value bets, and there are lotto tickets. Bankroll builders, something that you like at the track, something that you have a strong opinion on, press that opinion. Bankroll builders don't happen every day. You would like to build bankroll every day. Heck knows I would. But sometimes something looks good. All the angles are pointing in your direction, no matter if this is football, basketball, golf, tennis. Press your strongest opinion. Build bankroll. You like something and it is 4 to 5 and you feel that it should be 1 to 9, bet it. Build bankroll. In your mind, if you think a horse should be 2 to 5 and he's 2 to 1 and you've done your homework, bet it. Build bankroll. Value bets would be an example of pick 3s, doubles. You like a couple of horses, you want to press into a horse, but you don't want to, you want to get a little cute and not just bet a horse to win. You want to add a little value to your bet. There's tons of value in pick 3s. Look what these $3 pick 3s are paying at the end of these Churchill Downs cards. I even bet multi-dollar pick 3s at the end of the Saratoga cards. Pick 3s pay well. Doubles, the computer guys stay away from a lot of doubles. There's value in doubles. Those are value bets. Sometimes if a horse gets lost on the board, value bets. So that's bucket number 2. Bucket number 3 are lotto tickets. The way I play a lotto ticket, I want to single a horse, spread out in races that I think favorites aren't good, try to lock up other races, hit that single, hit a horse, beat a couple of bad favorites, turn $100, $200, $300 into 40, 50, 60, 70,000. I'm not messing with you. I've done it before. I've done it multiple times. I've had a lot of you guys with me doing it. P-Money comes to mind. Champagne Room comes to mind. There's a bunch of them. I don't love talking about them because I feel like it's bad juju, but at the end of the day, there's 3 types of bets. Bankroll builders. You find a horse that you love, and he's 4 to 5, 2 to 1, and you feel he should be 2 to 5. Bet, build bankroll. Value, doubles. A horse that's not, you feel is not priced right. An exacta, pressing, pick 3s, value bets. In sports, it would be more like futures for me, value bets. Horses that teams that are getting overlooked for different reasons because of travel or something like that. Like that's a whole different story. And I'm not a sports handicapper, though sometimes I think I am. But lotto tickets, single a horse, play pick 5, pick 6s, turn a couple hundred. I have had a few of you guys turn a couple hundred, couple thousand into 50, 100, 200, 300,000. We've been alive for the entire pool at Gulfstream before. I won for 150,000 on Breeders' Cup Day before when Champagne Room because I singled the horse that I really liked. You hit a lotto ticket that day. You're not going to hit lotto tickets every day. You don't want to just play pick 5s and pick 6s. You want to play bankroll builders, value bets, lotto tickets. Race 4, we went over again. The word I got, 5, 6, 9 are kind of the A's. 2, 7, 10 would be kind of the BCs. Want to see the tote, want to see what's going on. Race 5, I'm going to press into the 5. I thought that he ran really well. Best of speed last time, off the layoff against a stakes type of field. Now dropping in against lesser. He should get bet. I want to see this horse get bet. If this horse, this would be a prime example of a bankroll builder. If this horse goes off, if this horse gets bet at 4 to 5, and I feel in my mind this horse should be 2 to 5, he's getting bet sharp. He's got the right post. He's facing the right field. I'll bet this horse to win at 4 to 5. This is not a value bet. If he's 5 to 1, 6 to 1, he is dead on the board. There's a big difference. But I'm going to press into this horse in the 5th race. I'll do a couple quick things on the 6th race. Then I got to go back to work because I got to look at Monmouth. I got to continue to do work on the later races for Saratoga tomorrow. And I'm going to send out the late pick. I'm going to send out the full card grid to all the weekend giddy uppers after the 3rd race because I want to see if the track, the dirt track, is still speed favoring like it has been, like it was yesterday. But there was much more wind yesterday. I keep saying this over and over again. But less wind today, Definitely won't, might not be a speed bias, but I got from my guys on the track, the dirt is at 3¼ inches. They scraped it again this morning. Track is fast. We have not gotten substantial rain in a while. You can make up grounds on the turf. We just saw it. Sprinklers were on a lot Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sprinklers were on between 4 and 5 in the morning this morning, and then again after training. The turf is playing somewhat fair, but you still need pace. But the dirt yesterday, there was a bias. I want to see races 2 and 3, and then I'll send out a grid for the rest of the day to see how we're going to play it. Race 7 looks pretty straightforward after the scratch. The Linda Rice horse on the rail, I want to toss this April race. There was something wrong there. Once she claimed this horse at Keeneland, she ran it a few times at Aqueduct, and the horse just kept getting a little bit better. And her not running it now, leading right into Saratoga, waiting for 2 turns in this condition, I feel like Linda Sharp, she's been waiting for this spot. The other horse would be the Norm Cassie, Ace Jack Suited Racing, who is one of the best owners in the game. They're dropping the horse. I don't think anything is wrong with the horse. Horse is fastest on the sheets. Santana has been riding great. Should be aggressive. Get out to the front, especially if the horse is favoring speed. The 1 and the 9 for me in race 7 kind of lock up the race. I might press into the 1. Race 8, you could go a ton of different directions. The 7, from what I'm getting word, is fit and ready to go off of the layoff. He looks like the horse that should be on the lead with Pratt for Maker on the turf at this condition. You are not getting 5-1 now with the scratches. Yes, the 2, the 4 scratched. So the 7, I don't know what price you're going to get, but I'm probably not the only one that knows that this horse is fit enough to win in here today, being the first time out 6-year-old gelding off of more than a year layoff. I want to use the 8. I've always thought this horse had a little bit of turf in him. Extremely wide against a much better field than this on yielding. Draw a line through that race. They freshen him up. Finds the right spot with a race that's got a lot of question marks. The 8 will be on my tickets. Let's talk about the 3 and the 10 in a bucket. I like to say that a lot because I feel that there is not much difference between the 10 and the 3 on sheets and on when I'm watching this on replays. But the 3 is going to be a bigger price than the 10. He's going to draw a better post. People are going to say, well, Abreu's kind of cold. Rodriguez isn't the best turf rider. I've seen him win. This horse's effort 2 back was better than Ocean Atlantique's, and they're running in the same race again. I don't love either of them, but if you're going to use the 10, or if you like the 10, I would take another look at the 3. If you're going to use the 10, I would use the 3. Roy Lerman wouldn't shock me. Cantor Machi, first time off the claim. He's much better second time off of the claim. Barn, both of them, both brothers are running hot right now. If you're going to spread, why not? I took a look at the 1 for a little while. I just don't love these ultra routers cutting back. That's not, I don't like it for a lot of reasons that I've explained in emails before. Not for me. Again, kind of the word is the 7's fit enough to win. I want to give the 8 another chance on the turf since I always thought he was a little bit of a turf, but them not running this horse on the turf for so long. Linda had the horse in the winter. It ran in the summer, winter, early on, and maiden special weights. Like I can see it was with Chad Brown. Like Chad didn't ever put it on the turf and dropped it in before it ever went turf, but this isn't that much of a field. That's a flyer. It's the reason why you're getting 20-1. I'd use the 8 in race 8. 7 and 8 would probably be my A's. Wide open race. Race 9. There is a horse that I really, really like in here. I'm going to go, I'll say something about a couple different horses in here. I've been waiting for this horse to run back. I'm going to send out the grid, and it will be a lone A, possible single. It's getting a big jockey change. I'm making a big bet in race 9. You'll see the email. Race 10. Got a lot of droppers. We're here to win at Saratoga. Here to get rid of some horses. That feel. 2 things are going to happen in this race. 3 things could happen in this race. 1, speed duel. Someone closes out of nowhere at 9-1, 20-1. Option 2, the 7, who is speed of speed. I've seen Maselli do this so many times. Mike Maselli is sharp. Is this horse going to be the same coming out of the Cox barn? Probably not. But someone like Maselli running in a spot like this with speed of speed, got good works off of freshening, gave the horse a little bit of time off after pounding it into the ground in February and then in the winter down at Aqueduct. Outside speed, maybe the 7 could cross over, wire the field. I would really like this horse if it was going 6 furlong, 6.5. Makes me believe that the best animal will probably win because that's usually who wins the 6.5 races. So option 1, you're going to get a speed duel between 2, 6, 4, 7. Someone will close out of the clouds at 9, 15-1. Option 2, the 7 wires. So I would use the 7. Option 3, someone gets bet off the screen and clears this field because it's the best animal. And if I had to bet who that was going to be, it would be the Cox horse in number 2. So the 2 would be a must-use A for me without seeing the board. This is the last race of the day. Hopefully I'll get a live into after I single the horse that I really like in race 9, which will be in the email when it comes out after. Maybe I'll send it out after race 2. Tough to pretty much pick up on a bias in a maiden race when I don't know exactly what I'm going to get at a lot of these horses. So I'll probably send it out after race 3, and the pick 6 starts after that. So that middle pick 5 starts after race 3. I hate the third, unless I like. I have a single in this middle pick 5, but you can't play every pick 5. Like Derby Day, they had like 6 pick 5s. You're just light. You can't possibly. If you have the bankroll, go for it. But you can't play them aggressive. You're going to start chasing. You're going to want to jump off a bridge. If you play the early pick 5, the middle pick 5, the late pick 5, the all stakes pick 5, the cross country pick 5, you are going to look at your account and go, fuck, I just spent way too much money today. And then what do? You get short-armed the next day. You get short-armed late. Then what happens? You skip a day, and I'm coming from me who plays every day. Maybe you're just a weekend player. If you're a weekend player, you're here for the weekend or for a day, play every pick 5. Go for it. Have a fucking time. I would say fire. If I was here with my friends and I was 23 again, I'd be playing every pick 5. But if you're going at this every day, which pretty much a lot of these giddy uppers are, especially me, I know today's day 9. I know there were 39 races last weekend. I know there were 19 on the dirt, 10 on the inner, 10 on the outer. You can't play every pick 5. Like I was explaining before, bankroll, value, lotto tickets. Pick 5s are lotto tickets. You can play pick 5s as value, play a $3 denomination, go straight A's, go 4 by 3 by 2 by 1 by 1, something like that. You could turn it into a value bet. I've done it before. At Saratoga, it's tough. We almost did it yesterday. We got 2 minutes to race 2. The Chad horses are dead on the board. I told you that when we first started. Him putting blinkers on maidens. The stats are terrible. I don't know what they are offhand. I don't need to look them up. Been doing this long enough to know that. The 1 is getting bet right for me. He's the horse that I bet on top. I kind of want to use the 5. 1 and the 5 would probably be my A's. But going back to the last race, and then I'm going to jump off after race 2. Again, I think 3 things could happen in the last race here today, and that's going to be option 1. So you can, if you're going to play pick 5, pick 6, you could kind of play for these 3 options. That's what I'm kind of doing here. My 2 A's are 7 and 2. I think option 1 is there's a speed duel. Someone closes from the clouds, like we've seen on a bunch of these kind of cheap dirt races here at Saratoga. I'd like to see if this is a speed bias track. I'll know that after race 3, or I'll have a little bit decent of an idea after a speed bias track yesterday. Option 1 in last race, the 2, 4, 6, 7 eyeball Someone flies around the outside, wins 8, 9, 10, 15 to 1. Option 2, the 7, it turns into Speed of Speed. Maselli Sharp has this horse ready. See a big bullet working here. Heard the horse is working pretty good. Crosses over on the other speeds, gets loose. Everyone grabs. Philly, 3-year-old, maybe he's fixed something, gets a little confidence, wires the field, but I would like it a lot more if it was a 6 furlongs. Option 3, someone gets bet their eyeballs out and is just a better animal. And if I was going to guess who that was going to be, it would be the Brad Cox horse, number 2, for Dub. Cox, Donna Romano. So playing those 3 options for me would be like using the 7 as an A and the 2 as an A. And then on a different ticket, I would be playing spreading with horses that are going to probably come off the pace that are going to be prices. That's how you play the game. That's how I would play the game. That's how I would play this last race. I don't love anybody. You're getting a lot of drop down, Saratoga. We're here to win. Getting rid of, we want to win here type of moves. I think the Weaver horse is interesting. I thought that this horse, he's had some trips. The 3 runs on the turf, but he might just be tired of this horse and is just like, we could drop in here and win. Weaver's barn's going well. Pratt taking the call tells me that there's nothing significantly wrong with this horse. The 7th, the 4 to me feels like a horse that probably runs 2nd or 3rd in this race. Or he could also be the horse that maybe gets bet off the screen. Maybe he's the horse that gets bet off the screen. Maybe 2, 4, 7 are your A's. Post-time race 2. After this, I'm going to pop off. Hope you guys got something out of this. A couple of you asked me to do something like this because I didn't type anything up today. Since I'm doing Monmouth and Saratoga tomorrow, it just takes a lot of time, but I know you guys value the information. I try to help you guys out as much as you can. Use my opinion with your own. Try to print money. We're on day 9. To me, it feels like day 25 already. We've been up here a while. Thank you, D. Let's go Mets. I'm still believing, Larry. Still believing in the Mets. 15 Mac in the wild card. Can't stop believing. Don't see a WB. I like that name. Appreciate it. I appreciate you. Got about 250 people on here. I don't know if you guys are commenting on YouTube. I can't figure that out. My tech guy's not around. I am the tech guy. Post time, they're loading for race 2. The 1 would be my bet. 5 to 2 seems fair. The 2 Chad Brown horses are dead on the board. 5 interests me at 7 to 1. Wide open. So again, race 10, 7-2 or A's. Race 9, look for the email. I'm going to hammer somebody in there. Race 8, 7-8. 6 A's. Race 7, I might press into the 1. 1 and 9 lock up the race. Race 6, 2, 4, 8. The 8 at a price, use. Race 6, the 8. Use at a price. I think the winner's right to vote number 2. There's no way you're getting the morning line. The Cox would be my other A with IRAD, going ultra long. The 9 has gaps and works, toss. But the 8 could win at a price. 2 back when the rider fell. That horse was ready to win that race. Race 2, they're off. 1 broke okay, has got the rail. 3 broke fast and has the lead. Let's see what kind of splits they go. The 3, if I recall, is the horse that's run like 10 times. Yeah, 0 for 16. And this is the type of race an 0 for 16 horse. For an 0 for 16 horse to go off as the favorite at Saratoga tells you how bad some of these horses are, even if it's a $100,000 race. They went 23-1. The 1 is on the rail. The 3 is near the rail. The 6 is stalking. The 5, who I gave a shot to, is wide. 7 and 8 are doing no running. They should be running from 8 and 16s possibly. Let's see if the 5 does any running on the outside today. Because yesterday, anybody that was on the outside, off pace, 5 doesn't look like it's got much horse. The 3's comfortable. They win a decent second clip. So let's see if the 3 gets a little bit tired. Let's see if the 1 can make up some ground. 3 nose down. 1 tips out. 3 is extending. 6 is coming back on. 5 completely faded. 5 had no horse. 4 is making up some ground for Chad. The 4 for Chad is a bet back, especially on the turf. 3 wires the field. They went 1-2 all the way around. 123, 124 flat. What should have the race been? Let me see what my par was. Race 2. Again, I'm trying to pick up on a speed bias because there was a big one yesterday. Because the track is at 3¼ inches deep. The wind had a big effect yesterday. Not as much wind today. We just saw them lap around. They went 23-1, 46.5. So they went 23.5 second quarter. Projected winning time was 1:21. They went pretty slow. Oh, no. Wait, I'm sorry. That's race 3's part-time. That's my fault. 1:23 and 3. 1:23 and 4. Yeah. 22. Yeah. Part-time would be 23 flat, 46-1. And went 46-2. They're right on part-time. The 4 made up some ground. I want to watch race 3 because the 3, I have an idea in my mind of how the pace should develop in race 3. And that's when I can really, that's why if you sign up for GiddyUpBets, I do these kind of in real time. I want to see if there's a bias before I start to make final decisions later on these dirt races. You have to remember, a lot of the times, a lot of people like to call out the speed bias. The earlier races usually tend to have cheaper horses. So they'll hang on. Earlier races tend to, somebody might get loose on the lead, and all of a sudden someone exclaims bias, bias, and then you start changing your stuff around. But you got to look into it more. There was a bias yesterday. That I know. The wind helped. The track being at 3¼ inches helped. It hasn't rained in a long time has helped. They scraped it again today, helped. We just saw them go 1-2 around the track, but the 4 made up some ground. But the race 3, the 7 should be on the lead. The 8 should be sitting off. The 1 will probably hustle from the inside. Let's see if anybody makes up any ground that's supposed to. I really call out biases and chart them in my racing form. Once I do on Monday, I'll go back. I'll watch all the dirt races in a row. Last week, there were 39 races. There were 19 dirt races. I watched all 19 races in a row. I thought the track played fair. There were 10 inner turf races. The inside was a big advantage on the inner turf. The Mellon course, a little more fair. Didn't help to be forward. I feel like I say doesn't hurt to be forward a lot because these horses are bred for speed. These horses are sitting off most of the time in races that are better animal wins. You need front foot, do a little re-break. But yeah, 0-for-16 maiden, just won race 2. The horse was a B for me. He was one of the 3 horses I thought could win. Not shocking. Faded the Chad horses. Again, Chad and maidens. You look at the flag, it's blowing a little bit. Let's pull up the command center. Can we do that? Let's see if I can figure this out. Give you guys a little sneak peek into the world, and then we'll get off. Sure, you're tired of looking at my face. Remove. Let's get out of here. Stop this screen. Let's do share screen. Let's do this one. Let's share this. You see that? Look a little bigger. Can I do that? Yeah. If you're on your phone, you're probably fucked, but you're probably all on your phone. But this is something we've built here at GiddyUpBets team. The wind has picked up a little bit since this morning, 9 miles an hour right now. Gusts up to 17. Yesterday, the wind was going about 15, 20 with gusts up to 30. But you see here, the wind direction is going left to right, tailwind. Again, moderate tailwind helps out speed. This is a big thing not a lot of people look at. If you're on track that day, look at the flag. If the flag is blowing towards Union Avenue, towards the Oklahoma track, pretty much if you're looking at the track and it's blowing left real hard, there is a tailwind. It will help speed. You could still close, but you're going to need cover. When the flag is blowing to the right, it will help out closers more, especially if they have cover. And again, 5, 10, 15 miles an hour. But when there's real wind, like yesterday, there was real wind going on. I felt that the wind helped out the speed big time. Today, not as much, but this is kind of a look at something that one of my friends built that we've been using here, and we've got it for a couple of tracks now. I know today's opening day at Del Mar. I could pull Del Mar up. Del Mar wind right now. Beach is over here on the left. The wind is pretty much always going to blow that direction. There's a lot I could say about Del Mar, the way the track kind of plays. This right now, if you're looking at your screen, this is a typical Del Mar day. I would just continue to do what you're doing. Let's look at Monmouth. Monmouth, this is the ocean is the way the wind is blowing. Usually that's the case again. 4 miles an hour, nothing to really look at. No precipitation at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Tomorrow there will be precipitation. Tomorrow at Monmouth, they are getting wind and rain for Haskell Day. I am going over that card, and I am preparing for sloppy dirt. I am preparing for off track. I'm only going to do the pick 6. Something really sticks out earlier. If they take some of those races off the turf and I find a bankroll builder where they're over betting a turf horse on turf figures, because you guys know I love the off the turf races so much. And I find some value and I find a horse that, the pools will be bigger there at Monmouth on Haskell Day, but they're still not huge. But to find a horse that there's 3 types of bets, like I said before: bankroll builder, value, lotto tickets. And a bankroll builder for me is that I see a horse that I feel should be 2 to 5, and he's even money. I make a big bet and I try to build bankroll. Does that happen every day? No. I would love there be a bankroll horse every day. I'd be in a bigger condo. But in all bets, you're even, football, Wimbledon, World Cup, horse racing is I try to stick to. Bankroll builders, value, lotto tickets. Bankroll builders, you see a horse 2, 3 to 1 that you feel should be 2 to 5. Build bankroll. You see a double that's 6 to 1 with 2 favorites that you really like, that you feel that can't get beat. Like, I think it was last Saturday, there were 2 2-year-olds that were just like Breeders' Cup horses, and the rest of the field was not. You guys were, a lot of viewers were following then. Like, the double paid $8. Like, you know how hard it is to get plus 800 on a sports bet? Build bankroll. Value bets, pick 3s, doubles, horses that get lost on the board. Lotto tickets, pick 5s, pick 6s. If 95% of your bankroll are pick 5s and pick 6s, it's going to wear on you mentally, but stick to your process. If you have a process, stick to it. My process is I am singling horses in pick 5s and pick 6s. If I don't have a single or a lone A on my grid, I'm not going to play big tickets. If you have a process, stick to it. You can hit lotto tickets. All it takes is 1 or 2 up here. Last year, I did not hit a lotto ticket. 2024, I hit a $35,000 double. I had Pletcher single in the last. I think I was 8 by 6. And then the second leg was that Mayday Ready horse that ended up running really well in the Breeders' Cup for Joe Lee. Third leg went skinny. 4th race spread. Had a 4 to 1 Pletcher horse in the last race. Just got up at the wire. I turned $280 into $36,000. All it takes is 1. Again, depending on your bankroll, depending on how you play. If you're going to the track with $100, $200, play to your bankroll. I still do that. Play lots of doubles. Play horses to win. If you want to play pick 5, go super skinny. Saratoga Dan's probably on the stream. Dan DeSena, best dads around. Hit a pick 5 last year, $48 ticket for $32,000. He sticks to his process. All it takes is one. If you usually put $1,200, $1,300 into something, if you carry over, you want to chop it up with some friends, stick to your process. If you're not you don't like the single, like I was laughing at Andy Sterling on Talking Horses the other day. He was saying, I'm not a big single guy. I'm like, well, it's probably why you're not hitting a lot of pick 5s, pick 6s, Andy. Having a single leaves you ammo in other races to spread out where other people are not spread. $19 minutes to race 3. Let's do one last thing, and then I'm going to drop off. I feel like I've said that a few times. Pads out. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's an extension that connects to TVG. You don't need an account. Just an extension. What Pads Out is telling you are the implied odds of what you're likely to get in the win pool. This is what computer-assisted wagering guys are looking at. I will say again, there are tons of different ways that CAWs are working. There's tons of different syndicates. I can't speak for all of them. But the implied odds in daily doubles and pick 3s is likely what you are going to get in the win pool. Naira is helping us a lot by cutting them out at 2 minutes to post. But I would use Pads Out at Naira to craft tickets, to figure out who's dead on the board. Look at the 2, Reddington. 5-1 morning line is 16-1 in the double. That is dead on the board. The 1 who I said earlier at the jump when we did the early pick 5, I said was the wild card, is bet sharp in the double pool and the pick 3 pool. The 1 is live. If you're betting the 1 to win, do not expect to get 7-2 that you see on the board right now. It's actually 5-2 on the board right now. This will flash over to 5-2 in a minute. This updates, I think, every minute or so. 24 Mamba. So the morning line was 3-1. Okay, so the win odds right here, live is 5-2. That's right, we just added the morning line. So this is the morning line. The win odds is 5-2. Daily double odds 2-1. Pick 3 2-1. The 8, 24 Mamba. You're likely to get between 2 and 3-1 in the win pool. Because what a lot of these computer guys do for the rebates, they're just trying to level the playing field. If they see value, if the pick 3 is bet at 3-1 and the horse is 5-1 in the win pool, they're going to chop that down for the rebate and they're going to knock those odds down. That's what happens at a lot of these tracks, and it happens late because these systems go so fast and everybody goes, oh, these are criminals. This horse just went from 16-1 to 8-1. Let me be very honest with you. Yes, some people are going to the window last minute. They really like a horse. They know that the horse is training really well. They know maybe a horse in there isn't going to run as well, and they're going to freaking hammer it, and the price is going to come down. But 8, 9 out of 10 times, the odds are being adjusted in the win pool off of these 2 numbers right here. Use this tool. We used to do it on a piece of paper. My dad taught me. That's why it's called Pads Out. On a pad, I used to write down what the percentage was, daily double percentage, pick 3 percentage of the win pool. My math teacher, you won't always have a calculator in your pocket. Well, yeah, Miss Amstel, we do. Calculator is always in your pocket. Use the tools. Play the game like it's 2026. Don't play the game like it's 2004, like it's 1996. A lot of you are still doing it. I've learned the hard way. About 2001, 2020, 2021, I started seeing that there was a big difference between dead on the board and value. And this shows you right here. Will horses that are dead on the board, like this number 2 Reddington, it was 5-1 morning line, 7-1 on the win, 16-1 in the double, 9-1 in the pick 3s, dead on the board. Could he win? Yes. He'll have to trip out. What's up, bro? We talked about before. Should be the speed of speed. His form is dog shit with this new trainer. but he should be speed of speed. I've just seen a whole day of speed bias. I just saw another race. They went boat race around 1-2 on top. Morning line was 20. He's 14-1. In the daily double and pick 3, he is so dead on the board. This number is going to drift. The Barnes, anybody is not betting this horse in the horizontals. It is dead on the board. I'll use the horse in verticals because it's the speed of the speed, and I see a speed bias track. And this horse has back class, but with this new barn, and again, this trainer just won the other day. And these guys win in bunches. There's a lot of reasons why. Some of you know. I'm not going to get into it, but you see a trainer win, they usually win in bunches. They get cold in bunches, they get hot in bunches. Use pads out. 14 minutes to post race 3. I hope this was helpful. After race 3, I'm going to send out a grid to the Giddy Uppers for the rest of the card for Friday. I'm going to continue to work on Saturday's card since there's 12 races. I'm going to continue to look at Monmouth. I'm preparing for definite rain at Monmouth, probable rain at Saratoga tomorrow. Today, we are fast, firm, possible speed bias, continuing on the dirt at Saratoga. Turf is a little bit more fair. Still want to be inside on the turf per normal. Pressure strongest opinions. Again, 3 types of bets: bankroll builder, value, lotto tickets. Don't put 95% of your capital into lotto tickets and just play pick 5s and pick 6s. Find horses you really like, bet them to win. Take the money and run. Value bets, pick 3s, doubles. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support. I think I need to shave. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I got the little man's drawings for me to give me some good luck. Little man right there, out in Montana. We're going to do another stream around 5:30. I'll send out another link. Chantel Sutherland's going to come aboard after she's done riding at Monmouth. We're going to talk a little Haskell. Mr. Pads Out himself is going to come on. We might have Wes Siegler on, who runs Winning Move Stables, cousin of Jamie Lynn Siegler, Meadow Soprano. Young kid, 18 years old, loves the game. He's getting a platform for me. I remember when I was 18, loving the game, putting bets in. Any questions? Always email me, mark@GiddyUpBets.com. If you signed up this weekend, you should have gotten the early pick 5 grid. Late full card grid will come out right after race 3. If you want to jump on board for tomorrow, or if you're not a Giddy Upper, sign up, go to GiddyUpBets.com, or just email mark@GiddyUpBets.com. Hit me up with any questions. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for trusting all the work that I put in. Let's go Mets. Print money. Enjoy your day. We only have so many weekends left. Giddy up.